This week, we take on the challenge of a single track, braving the rain for an epic adventure. There's no shortage of mud, slippery climbs and descents, and we face the sort of challenges that are part and parcel of a tough day off-road. All that and plenty more as Life Off-Road takes on the Mt Robertson Hills and Bogs. It's wet, it's rainy, it's overcast, and we're all set for a big day on the tracks at Mt Robertson. We're heading for Battery Spur Track, and guys, it is an absolute doozy. And running the winch will be Tony from Donaldson.
Looking forward to that.
All previous trips have been in the Iveco, but this time we're in the Colorado C7s. A lot closer to the ground than what I'd previously been at, and smaller wheels and so forth, but hopefully just as capable.
All right, guys, we're not far off our first turn, which is onto the main track we're doing for the entire day, Battery Spur Track.
How's this weather, Greg?
It's turned it on its charm for us, hasn't it, mate? A lovely day to be out in the easy tracks we've got in front of us.
Troy and Tristan, you guys got that email about changing over to mud tyres for today, didn't you?
No.
Lucky the rest of us have got winches.
So we weren't sure what to expect. Simon had really talked this track up.
Tim and Pete, great to have you guys back along for another trip.
Thanks for the invite. Always a good day at the office when you're in the bush four-wheel driving.
I see you got a few mates on the back seat there.
The next generation of off-roaders are joining us today. We've brought Tom and Ollie.
We put over pretty quick once you turn off the track. Head down at some pretty low pressures, expecting some pretty greasy tracks.
A bit of mud on the track, sign of things to come, I reckon.
It's got the makings of a great day.
Straight up there and down, we started cruising along the ridgeline, making our way down to the valley.
The track started to descend down, which wasn't too bad, but it was starting to rain and get pretty slippery. Navigating our way down was a little bit tricky.
It's getting slippery already.
Did notice that?
Troy and Tristan, you guys slid off the track yet with those slicks?
No, still travelling nice and straight.
So we come across our first decent bog hole, and Simon, being the brave one, charged in.
I haven't done the left-hand side of this one, so I might go for a couple of magic buttons, I reckon.
There was a couple of options to go around that one. Most of us took the deeper bit through the centre.
It was quite deep with a few ruts underneath, and right at the exit point there was a tree that dropped over the track, so we had to pick our way around the tree and pull out of the rut as we're exiting the hole.
Do you think we should just hit it, or do you want to walk through it?
Hit it,
give it a bit of...
Get into it.
Oh, here we go. You ready?
Here we go, yeah. Go. Yeah.
Nicely done. That's saucy.
Very excited in here, Simon, very excited. I don't know what to say.
Well, it's just nice when someone gives you some positive feedback.
On the nitro car, might have wisely tried to pick a line around, keep the high side of it.
Would be awesome if we had some Mickey Thompsons to keep up with everyone else. At the moment, we're having to drive around some of them just because our tyres aren't cut out for the job.
As we're cruising along Battery Spur Track, a couple of bog holes down.
All's going well, then the call comes on the radio. Camera car's stuck and stuck good.
Guys, we're on our way now.
So we all catch up.
Yep, good job.
It looked like the boys had tried to do the right thing and get around the side of the bog hole where it wasn't quite as deep, but it looks like they had slipped down and into the really soft stuff. Simon decided to jump in the driver's seat and try and unstuck the Colorado.
Punched the lockers in, gave it a couple of cracks.
Lots of splashing and mud and water flying everywhere.
I jumped out of the car to see what all the fuss was, and there was quite a loud snapping noise.
And that was the end of the right-hand front CV joint on the Colorado.
So when the camera car got bogged, Simon, being Simon, thought he'd jump in and show the boys how it's done and drive the car out of the bog hole. However, that didn't go to plan. There was a loud bang. You really need to take good care of your axles. They are the crucial component when four-wheel driving. Nitro Gear and Axle actually offers an OE replacement that's around about 10 to 20% stronger depending on application. And then we offer chrome ollie axles, which are between 30 to 50% stronger. In most cases, the Nitro Gear chrome ollie axles are more than double the strength of OE axles. And we also offer a lifetime warranty against snapping. But unfortunately for the guys, we don't make chrome ollie axles for their camera car. We are working on it though.
So Greg was quick to get the recovery gear out and run the winch cable for Simon.
Tree trunk decked around the tree, a rope onto the tree, dampener over the hook. And we had him out of there pretty quick smart. I guess in hindsight, we probably should have winched it before we broke the CV, would have made the rest of the trip a bit easier.
Having gone from a four-wheel drive to a two-wheel drive, the camera car now required to be winched out.
If you're unsure and you don't want to damage your car, hook that winch up sooner rather than later, and just let the winch do all the work, don't damage your car.
So after we got the Colorado out of the bog hole, there's an engine light on. Boys were a little bit concerned that it was in limp mode and going to leave them stranded. So we got our handheld code breaker out, we were able to read the code, clear it, and the boys were on their way again. When I first started four-wheel driving about 22 years ago, things were a lot different. Cars have become a lot more complex, and without the ability to read the engine codes, you could be stuck on the side of a track for something that's really, really basic and easy to solve.
So once we recovered the car, obviously a turn for the rest of us, so we all had our own theories on how to tackle it. We all had a crack at the hole, we had a go. We were all in pretty big trucks.
We broke one car going through there, so we're now going through the same spot again.
Lockers on!
Okay. Point clear.
So we went down the left-hand side, which is a little bit deeper, a little bit softer, but with a bit of momentum, we were able to get through pretty easily.
3 litres got a lot of
A lot of punch.
a lot of punch.
A lot of punch. Troy saw a line that was similar to where the camera car went through, so he just chose a slightly better line and we were able to make it through.
We all got through the hole, the main hole, but yeah, definitely some deep mud there, and by memory, the headlights are pushing water, so there's no doubt there's some depth there.
So that bog hole cleared, kept on our way down Battery Spur Track, and we come to a relatively steep descent. It was a fairly narrow track, so there wasn't a lot of room to navigate around, so we sent the camera car down first.
He descends it down the hill now. Obviously gravity helps. The car was going to make it down, but he still did it well. He kept control and drove the car down nicely.
Now, the problem we had is we now were led by a two-wheel drive camera car, but a very enthusiastic Simon.
We've got a busted CV, we've got no front diff lock, we're in low range, and we've got this massive hill to get up. I am going to absolutely send it, get to the top of this. Rear wheel drive, let's see how we go.
Simon went ahead with the camera car and we were listening to the events.
Couldn't see a lot of the first crack, but you certainly heard it. There's a lot of noise, a lot of banging and crashing.
Wet and slippery on those rocks, a couple of step ups, there's no way we're getting over those with the traction we've got at the moment.
So we backed down, dropped the tyres lower in the rear, more traction now. He launched it at the hill, had a fair crack, a lot of bouncing.
All we could hear was the banging, the crashing, and the high RPMs and the torture that he was giving this Colorado to try and get it up the hill.
But he actually made it halfway up the hill before the car ground to a halt.
Tony, I'm going to get you to drive the Colorado 7 down. When you're ready, bring it on.
Suddenly I wasn't a passenger anymore in the C7, but I had some driving duties to take over.
It was a bit of a slippery slope. I don't even think we slipped at all. It was really, really, really solid.
There we go, sliding. Wet and slippery.
A bit of a challenging track all the way through until we got to the bottom of quite a daunting looking hill.
Right guys, halfway up this hill, we've got the camera car, the red ute, in a spoon drum. I've deliberately got it off the side of the road to make room for us to get through. Sort of deliberately, half accidentally slid off here. All right, let's do it. Good work.
We had this situation where the Colorado was half stuck up the hill.
It was quite crucial to make it up that hill because at the top of the hill it was lunchtime.
Where it stopped on the side of the track, left room for another car to get him past.
Back in the driver's seat for me in the Colorado 7. Navigated my way fairly carefully because I'm driving a car I've never driven before. Got past where Simon was, got straight into the rocky steps, but we had diff locks and all of the toys that are really good to have. Climbed the hill quite easily.
Jim and Pete, you guys ready?
Simon asked for some help. Track was looking pretty steep, so we let a bit of tyre pressures out of the Baja Boss so we get maximum traction. Put our front and rear lockers in and started to make the climb up to hook the Colorado on.
Oh yeah, it keeps going up this hill, huh?
Lots of traction available in that car.
Need a lift?
Need a lift for sure, thank you.
We got ourselves into a position where we could hook the snatch strap on. Took some tension off the strap and then we gave it all the berries it had to get to the top.
Woohoo!
They literally dragged Simon up the rest of the hill climb. The mean drive of that car hanging off the back.
Once he got out of that clay patch, he was able to drive most of it in two-wheel drive, but the tow strap was still there just in case he got stuck again.
Well done, the Ultimate 9 guys, that's good cred. And to show those Mickey Thompson tyres, definitely know how to work in these conditions.
Perfect. Well done.
And then it was everyone else's turn.
Let's see how this steep hill goes.
Lucky for us, we still had our four-wheel drive. We didn't blow any CVs, and Troy was able to drive that hill pretty confidently, being that he had all-wheel drive. There was quite a few steep rock ledges, a foot or so deep, that he had to make it up.
The ruts up the top, they were greasy, but there's enough rock in the base, gives us plenty of traction.
Troy just took off once he got over those.
We followed up not long behind him. Fairly good idea of the best line and not quite what he expected.
Actually quite a lot of traction. There's a bit of rock on this track, even though it's wet. Traditionally, even wet rocks are slippery. This one surprised me just how much traction is available. Second low. Not that easy. Done. Good climb, good track.
So we got to the top of the hill where eventually we stopped for lunch.
Look back upon what was quite an eventful morning.
Awesome way to have your break during the day and have a chat with the guys. After lunch, we swung off Battery Spur on the Gum Creek track.
Hey Greg, today you and I are both running front and rear coil setups, but mine's a little bit different with a strut up front.
Absolutely, mate. You've got a complete strut assembly in the front of yours, being independent front, something which we've adapted our market to suit. We now actually supply them pre-made, pre-assembled, so you can actually buy your strut ready to install.
It's a time and labour cost saver. Next time you're ordering suspension, consider pre-assembled struts. Make it safe, make it quick, make it cost effective, buy them assembled. So we cruise along another bog hole track. Lots of bog holes in this area.
Oh, pretty solid.
Oh, that was reasonably deep. Wait, it's sabotaging here.
Yes, I am.
We don't know how deep this one is. Looks pretty deep.
It does, I might try and speak around the side.
And we're in the hole.
But wait.
There's more holes.
We skirted the edges of the camera car, a couple of us with the bigger wheels, bit of a drop in, had a quite deep set of ruts in it. Bit of a splash here and there, bit of mud around. Go straight without any dramas. More about control and keeping momentum, but not bouncing the car and damaging anything at the same time.
It was bog hole after bog hole. Sometimes we had to take the chicken track.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, no. We're not going through there, no way.
No, we are not going in there.
Bog hole, bog hole, bog hole. Heaps of bog holes for you and you and you, and everyone gets a bog hole.
At first it was nothing too challenging. We're sort of just making our way through. And then we come to one that looked fairly inviting. There was a tree down, so we had to detour around. We decided to try the left-hand side. That looked a little bit more challenging. Made it through relatively easy.
We weren't going to risk it on those front CVs on the IFS vehicle.
I won't take your car through there, Tristan.
That's nice of you. Well, you can, but you have to wash it.
That ain't happening.
So as we made our way through this bog hole, Simon jumped on the radio and was sort of telling us what a great end to the day and thanks for having us.
A nice and easy finish to a fantastic day.
It's kind of a shame. I reckon it would be cool if we got the winch out.
Famous last words. Let's hope we don't get bogged.
And he couldn't have been any more wrong.
Tony, the snorkel does a fair bit to pre-filter the air as it goes down into the engine when we're out here forward driving, obviously clearing away debris, leaves, dust, water. But when we get down to the media, how much media is there actually in a filter?
There's surprisingly a lot. In one of our coming projects, there's upwards of 10 to 12 metres of filter media in it. And the way it's designed, you can almost double that because of the design of it. So there's a surprising amount.
After that, the track started to look pretty easy and we were making our way back to the highway and we come across one last bog hole, which everyone was sort of skirting around and not looking like they wanted to attempt it.
What do you reckon, big fella?
I reckon that's going to be a bit spicy in there.
I don't know. I think the lip shows that people have got traction to each end.
Have you got any recovery gear just in case?
I'm going round this way.
Oh, okay, you're not going in there.
Troy said, this is definitely what we call a 3 o'clock track. The 3 o'clock track is guaranteed when you're out forward driving, if you're unprepped, if you try and take the hard road, at 3 o'clock, you're gonna get stuck.
The clever people went around the hole.
I won't call it a chicken track because even the chicken track wasn't that easy.
Oh.
It's this one that I reckon is going to get a bit tasty. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't want to risk it for the biscuit because we didn't want to see any snap CVs on the way home.
There's left two of us behind. That was the Ultimate 9 crew and myself with our bigger trucks and our bigger winches. We got up there, we checked the hole. It was pretty obvious. We pretty much knew there's no way we're going to drive it. So we set up for a winch. We got ready before.
As we entered the bog hole, we dropped down and I think we probably got about a car length in before we just had no momentum.
Mate, they didn't even get a car length in the poor thing. It just buried in its slop.
A little bit of back and nothing. We realised it's probably a little bit deeper than we thought because it's fairly soft. So it's time to winch.
Mate, they're under the power of that winch. That winch is running underwater. Did a great job pulling that car through, dragging a lot of mud.
Full power in the batteries because we hadn't used it all day and it just pulled through that bog hole like there was nothing in front of us. After we were clear of the bog hole, it was Greg's turn with Rod Per Ute. Utilised the exact same setup that worked for us.
Last trip I did with the Ultimate 9 guys, I was in front and I had to go through the bog hole first. Well, this time we swapped it around, they were in front, so I got to sit back and watch them have a go. I put it in, I gave it a red hot go going in. Once I dropped the nose in, I gave it a bit of a squirt. Look, I got a little bit further than Timmy, not a lot further. Diffed out, soft bottomless mud. Even though they pushed a heap of mud out, it was just undrivable. So yeah, winch cable on, we're there pretty quick, put winch gear away, and we're out of there.
At the end of the day, it was pretty action-packed actually, towing up the hills, winching out of bog holes, breakages.
It was a cracker of a day. A lot of rain, a lot of mud. The hill climb, which I was really looking forward to, I really enjoyed the hill climb.
Had we been out trying to recover the Colorado on that steep hill in the rain, I think it would have been a different story.
I'm not a great fan of mud and so forth, but we've managed to stay relatively clean and dry.
We had a good day, good fun day. Bring on the next one, eh?
reckon you're so smooth you could outrun COVID.
I'm so smooth, I could be a criminal.
Love some clarity.
Time it. I thought I was...
I'll get a shot.